They've been completely turned. And I'm going to read one more piece, if you don't mind, because at a moment like this, I have to go back to the basics. It's a very strange time for me. Ups and downs as a seesaw. It's a roller coaster, good and bad, black and white. For the Lord will have compassion on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall join himself with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now listen to this. And the peoples shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and for handmaids, and they shall take them captive, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. They shall take them captive, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Now I want to ask you something. Who is the oppressed here? Michael Savage or the British government? Who is David here? Michael Savage or the British government? Who is the underdog here? Michael Savage or the little government? The English government? If you can't answer that question, then your brains are scrambled. I'm everything America used to believe in. I used to hear that America liked the little guy. America liked the underdog. America liked the oppressed. America supported the oppressed. Here I am, the oppressed. Here I am, the little guy. Here I am, the man on the bottom facing an entire government. And who is on my side? Not the liberals, not the progressives, but the conservatives. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I again tell you we are in dangerous times where everything is upside down. The progressives are the fascists. Those who stroke themselves on the head, tell everyone that they're progressives. They are actually the National Socialists of yesteryear come back to bite us in the behind. They don't even know it. Most of them don't even know it. They're so filled with themselves, they don't even understand they are the National Socialists of the Germany of the 1930s. They would never believe you if you told them that. If you held up a mirror to them, they wouldn't believe you. They publish journals and articles, and they go on MSNBC and CNN, and they're convinced that they're right. But in fact, they stand for everything that is opposed to the American way. Everything, from the top to the bottom. What is more basic than freedom of speech? Nothing. It's the core of all our other freedoms. And yet not one of them has said, you know, Savage, though I object and detest even many of the things you say, I would fight to the death your right to say it. Now, it is true that the ACLU came out against this banning in England, as they should have, but they've done nothing since. They actually should have taken the case if they were really true to their beliefs. But as you well know, they don't really believe that. They really believe in the oppression of speech. So again, should I accept this or not? And no one has called yet. I haven't had one liberal call the show and defend political correctness. It's very interesting. I would like you to do so. I would like to hear the other side of the argument. Teach me the errors of my ways. Tell me why there should not be freedom of speech. In other words, what do you mean political correctness? What does that actually mean? Thou shalt not offend someone who is offended? Whose ever ox is gored is the oppressed? No, right now I'm the oppressed. The whole government has said, you can't come into my country. So, yes or no, should I go? And what are the arguments against this? Charlie in New York, WOR. Go ahead, you're on the Savage Nation.
Doctor, you have to go there. You have the upper hand as far as I'm concerned, because just by being invited there, they're starting to start some type of movement on their own over there.
I think so. I think that look, there was a poll done when this first happened by the newspapers over there in May, and it was 80-20 running in my favor that the government was wrong. Now, that includes Muslims even. Many of them agreed that I shouldn't have been banned, incidentally. The modern Muslim did not want me banned. The fanatic throwback, of course, wanted me banned. So look at who's united there. The fanatic throwback who would kill England itself is united with the Labour Socialist Party. How do you like that, Charlie?
And I think you should try to get into the country just to force that issue on them, to say, you're stopping me from coming over here for freedom of speech.
Well, I understand. A lot of people have said go there and make a scene. I will not do that. I may go to Ireland at some point, the Republic of Ireland, and give a speech in Ireland. I may take 500 listeners with me on a trip to Ireland, and we will then march to the border of where Ireland meets the controlled area controlled by the British, and I will give a speech there holding both the Union Jack and the flag of the Republic of Ireland. That's something I have in mind. I'll go to the true land of freedom, the Republic of Ireland.
That's what you represent. You represent.
That's what I'll do. That's the thing I might do. I've always wanted to visit Ireland. I have not been there. I've been to England a few times. I haven't been there in a long time because I had never intended to go back. I mean, I always liked the country. I love the architecture. I like, remember, this is interesting. Do you know that my collection of medicinal plants is housed in the Kew Gardens in London? Do you know that? All the years I collected plants, looking for cures, I made 7 sets of herbarium specimens, and one was sent to Kew Gardens in London. I visited it once, way back in the 70s or 80s, I don't remember which. Another collection is in the Bishop Museum in Hawaii. Another collection is in the Fiji Museum. I have a whole collection of them, which I just got out of a warehouse. I can't believe this story. I went to a warehouse that I keep here in the Bay Area, and I put my herbarium of these rare plants in there in 1995, and I never went back. So they're sitting in this warehouse in bad storage, unair-conditioned storage. Since 1995, I went there and I figured, okay, I'm going to open it up. All the plants are going to be eaten alive. They weren't. I had put mothballs in there. My mother was right. And you can still smell the mothballs from 95 till now. And none of the plants have been eaten up. So the collection is still there. I threw in the mothballs and put it back in storage. It's interesting to me. But the point is that my plant collection is in the Kew Gardens in London. I guess Gordon Brown could go now and purge them out of the Kew Gardens. Gordon Brown maybe could have one of his fascist socialites go into the Kew Gardens and look for my collections and burn them. He could have a plant burning. Because after all, they're fascist plants, aren't they? They were collected by the evil Michael Savage back in the 1960s and 70s in Fiji and Tonga and such, when he was a humble botanist looking for cures from the jungles. They call them rainforests. Now we call them jungles. It doesn't matter what you call them. I actually did the plant collecting. Now, most of the frauds in the environmental business have never actually been in a jungle. They've been in the jungle in their own mind because they think that they're actually Charles Darwin. But they've actually never been in a rainforest, never collected plants, but they think they know more about the environment than I do. They know nothing. Zero. There is no anthropogenic global warming so far as I can tell. There is no man-made global warming. It's a scam to control businesses and impose the highest tax in American history. It'll cripple the nation, destroy us. And yet, Obama the genius went to Harvard, lawyer. He believes in global warming. How about me debating Obama on global warming? How about me debating Al Gore on global warming? I open this up at any time to debate either of them. You know that Al Gore refuses to debate anybody because he's a liar? I stand here and say before you definitively Al Gore is a fraud and a liar, a con man. Because he will not debate the people who can destroy him verbally because they know the facts. And I'll give you one fact. Here's one for all of you schmucks who believe that man caused global warming. Okay, schmucks? You hyper-educated morons, here it comes. You don't like what I'm saying? Good. Listen to what I'm going to say to you. Answer this question. Show how smart you are. Go ahead. You're all smart in your drawing rooms there on the Upper East Side. But when you get around someone like me, you fall apart. That's why you don't want anyone like me around you. That's why Gordon Brown doesn't want me in England. Because I could devastate him verbally. I could crush them with 3 sentences. Let's start with global warming, schmuck on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Here, schmuck, genius, PhD, moron, lawyer. Here it is, schmuck. You ready for it? Explain the following. There was several ice ages in the history of the planet. Correct? And so far as we know, several ice ages came and went. The ice, which once went down almost as far as I remember, down past the Great Plains here in America, maybe even farther than that, covered the Earth from the North Pole almost to the equator. And yet the ice receded long before man had invented the internal combustion engine, when there was a very small population of mankind. There were only a few fires here and there. Why did the ice melt? Did it melt because of the Model T Ford? Did it melt because of the SUV? Did it melt because man caused global warming? Schmuck. Use common sense, putz. Use a 5th grade education in science to understand you don't know what you're talking about. You people are so screwed up on the left that you actually believe your own lies because you won't let anyone who knows the truth near you. Well, I have to take my hats off to the people in England. At least the Cambridge Union is willing to listen to the other side. That's more than I could say for Fox News. I'll be right back.
Savage. The Savage Nation.
He has it all covered.
Weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk 910. KNEW.
I carry the flag of freedom here for the United States of America at this time. Those who are fighting and dying in Iraq or Afghanistan are the real heroes. We know that. We don't even know why they're in Afghanistan. In fact, I told you that I predicted last week there'd be a growing anti-war movement, and it would come from the right, that the left is on board because it's Obama's war. And as you well know, they're hypocrites. They were never anti-war. They were only anti-Bush. But moving aside from that, tell me what's more fundamental to a free society than freedom of speech, because without freedom of speech, you lose all the other amendments. If you cannot stand up and say no, why, they could roll you over. So here I am, banned in Britain by Gordon Brown, the illegitimate labor government, socialist government is what they really are. And yet today I receive a letter that the Cambridge Union Society has invited me to debate the issue of political correctness on October 15, 2009. They say you could either address the society by live video link or pending any revisions of your legal status in person. The letter is up on michaelsavage.com if you think I've invented it. It's a great honor, but it's filled with pitfalls, as are all